Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope everything is fine. Well, would you like to play cards with me for a few minutes? Well, actually, in today's lesson, I'm going to introduce the teaching method, the language teaching method, which I have called Pictologics or PLS. You might have seen my other videos about my TV programs, which were produced in 2003. They're all based on the PLS method. All right, so I'm going to give you a very brief history of what happened and what led to developing this method. Um, as the title of this video suggests, this method was inspired by playing cards. Actually, about 27, 28 years back, I was doing my master's in TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language. And one night, me and my friends, we were playing cards, and then suddenly it occurred to me that a question occurred to me. Okay, why is it that people play with cars and they don't get tired? And I thought to myself, okay, if as a teacher, a language teacher, okay, this was one of the problems. Okay, students might get tired in the classes, and if you're a conversation class, they very soon would run out of topics or subjects to talk about. Right? So I thought maybe there's a way to manipulate what happens in playing cards into teaching and, of course, learning foreign language, in our case, English. And eventually, for some reasons, I ended up experimenting with South Korean students in Iran. There were some families who were working in big companies and factories, and they had brought their children, and then um, I made some connections, and I could convince them to let me try this new method with their kids, and it was very good. All right. So after a while, I had this opportunity to give a lecture in Tehran University. Okay, in one of the most prestigious universities in Iran, and then I took four of these students of mine to the stage, and they showed the audience how this worked. I have a few seconds of that particular gathering. Please watch. میتونم بگم Mr. X یعنی اینو با هم دیگه توافق کنیم یکی چند سفر Please introduce yourself and say how are you. If you start with the
My name is Jonghyun and I'm 15 years old and I'm from Korea. My name is Ji-yoon and I'm 15 years old and I'm from Korea. Shakespeare is sitting on the sofa and writing his book.
Shakespeare is sitting on the sofa and writing Shakespeare
And he's looking at the windows and sees the forest. And suddenly he hears bells. Church, and then after writing his book, he went to a bread shop to buy his bread, and the bread shop baker was Charlie.
So as you could see, those kids were ready to talk about any picture or picture combination, just randomly chosen, randomly picked combination of pictures, and they were ready to answer any questions that the audience would ask them. on the spot, no memorization. Okay, everything happened on the spot, on the stage. All right. So this is what we look for in PLS method. We had filmed this occasion, and I took this film to the education channel in Iran, of the TV in Iran, and okay, after a few meetings, I managed to convince them to make the programs, and I made the programs. Okay, in 2003, with some students of mine, some students of friends, 90 programs. You can see them on YouTube these days if you wish. Of course, it's bilingual, means starts with Persian, a lot of Persian, and then moves to English. At the beginning, Persian is used a lot, and this is one of the characteristics of this method. We start with the mother tongue, a lot of mother tongue, and then little by little we move towards the target language. So in the advanced levels, target language is almost 100%. Now I'm going to use some slides and explain how theoretically it works. And let me explain to you how it works. So this is Introduction to Pictologics, or PLS. As you can see, PLS is the short form of Pictologics. It's the first letter, middle letter, and the last. Okay, PLS. All right. Now, so we have these cards. Okay. And the crucial question is, why can people play cards for hours without tiring? And then, in my opinion, there are two reasons. Number one is that you just have 52 cards, and these cards are, they can be picked, they can be used almost infinite random combinations. And then number two is the value of each card is not absolute. It means that based on the game you're playing, you give certain values to certain cards. Okay, so they don't have a fixed value. For instance, Ace of Hearts is not the best always. Sometimes it is the best, sometimes it is not the best. It is one of the weakest cards. Now, if you apply this, the number of combinations, okay, you can apply this formula, n factorial divided by m factorial times n minus m factorial, in which n is total number of the cards, m is number of cards picked at a time, and factorial means the number must be multiplied by the numbers preceding it. For instance, if you have 5 factorial, it means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then just imagine you have 20 pictures. Then you can have this number of cards. Okay, so one picture at a time, that would be 20. Then two, that would be 190. It goes up to 10, and then it just goes down again. But you will have 1 million something possibilities. What does it mean? It means that if with just one card or two cards at a time or three cards, etc., uh, if you just come up with one linguistic form, for instance, a word, then you will have more than 1 million possibilities. That is very, very easy. All right. Actually, you can have many possible, many usages of words and structures. Okay, just using one picture, then you can have many. That is astronomically big. Then, yeah, you might ask me, okay, pictures are used in different language methods. Okay, I agree. But the way they are used are very different from what I suggest. Okay, so here we have the methods, the most popular methods, and then you use of pictures. They don't get even close to what we do in PLS. Now, let me define what we mean by logic and in Pictologics. Okay, so logic, suppose that we have this picture. All right. Now, I can say, imaginatively speaking, I can say this is me. So I can say I or he. You might say, okay, so you're different, your color is different. I say, okay, no problem. In our imagination, we can change that. It is absolutely possible. Then maybe we can say Ali, Jack, or any masculine names, okay, Mr. X, my any male relative, my teacher, boss, the teacher, driver, any job. the young teacher, the sad teacher, etc., etc., the man wearing a blah, 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 and then, so all these, and of course more. However, we have two limitations. Okay, so you might say, okay, when it is imagination, then even the sky is not the limit, and I'm there with you. But let's agree to have two limitations, and I will explain why. Number one, okay, for instance, to that picture, I cannot say she. I cannot say Fatima Mary. I cannot say Mrs. X. I cannot say my any female relative. This one, this one, this one. I cannot say the horse or a tree. You might say, okay, why not in our imagination? A man can very, we've seen that in cartoons, okay, turn into a tree or horse. But then I would say, according to some cultures, some ethics in some cultures, it's not possible. So there are only two limitations. Number one is an utterance or language production is completely in contrast with fully, firmly established grammatical rules. For instance, in English, we have the masculine subject pronoun, he, when it is he. Okay, so we don't have it in Persian. In other languages, maybe you have different things. Okay, so gender differences must be taken care of. And then we have, second one is the language production violates the ethics of a particular culture. Yeah, for instance, in Iran, right now, you cannot there are some red lines. You cannot cross them, okay, even as a teacher in the class. Okay, you have to be very careful about these things. These are the limitations. I would call them cultural or ethical, okay, societal, you might say. For instance, here in Taiwan, usually it's better not to talk about death and death-related things with the students and in a class. In some parts of Turkey, you cannot mention a dog. In Iran, you cannot say my girlfriend, my boyfriend. Okay, so these are taboo. So please do not cross the red lines and then pay attention to these two things, and then there is nothing to stop you. For instance, let me give you an example. We have this beautiful kitten. We can say animal, live, water. So anything can be related, can be associated with any picture if you use your imagination. Okay, so you can ask teachers. Now I'm talking to my colleagues, the teachers who are going to use this method. Again, you see, you can use this method on its own, alone, or you can mix it with other methods and the techniques used on those methods. I don't have any prejudice towards this. Okay, so make your own pictures, something like this. If it is just a very small class, small pictures, okay, like this, they can be anything. All right, so pictures themselves are not important. The way your mind deals with them and the student's mind deals with them is important. Okay, so it can be any picture, as in the playing cards 52. Why don't they have 100? Okay, so there is no need for that because they go in different combinations, and of course that the value is different. The value is not absolute, so you give new value whenever necessary. This is done by your imagination. Okay, so deck of pictures, maybe 100 pictures would be enough. Okay, and of course be careful with the copyright things. You can just download from the free uh, let's say sites. You can download free pictures, and if your class is bigger, you might want to have a bit bigger pictures like these, etc., etc. Okay, and of course, if in your classroom or you're teaching online, okay, you can have computers, and then you might want to have electronic versions. Okay, for instance, right now on my computer, I have 190. I have a folder in which I have 190 pictures. Okay, well, if I wished, I could have 1,000 pictures, but it's not necessary. Just a few, maximum 200 pictures would be enough. Okay, pictures of people, places, animals, food, signs of technology, jobs, different things, okay? A variety of different things in which they can be combined with each other and help you use your imagination in PLS, okay, and that of the students. Okay, so well, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna give you at the end of this video a list of 10 techniques uh, which can be used in PLS, plus 10 tips for the PLS teachers and 10 frequently asked questions about PLS. Okay? It'll be a bit technical, but that would be very useful for teachers, my fellow teachers, English language or any other language. I assume the techniques can be used in other languages as well. Speaking of techniques, let me give you one very basic technique right away, right now. Um, Suppose that you are in a class, okay, ask the students to just pick one random picture. Okay, so it can be, if it is cards are face down, one of them can pick one picture randomly. Or if it is the electronic version, okay, so you have the list of the pictures, one, two, three, four, five, etc. Then you ask them just to give you one number, and you open that picture. So you have a picture. Okay. Then you ask your students, can you? This is a challenge. Okay, it's a big challenge. Can you give me a word that you think cannot be related to this picture at all? By this being related or associated with, I mean, you give a word, and I will make use that particular picture, and I will make a sentence, a good sentence in English, grammatically correct. Okay, in just 1 second. All right, I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and you give them reward. You say, okay, if you can do that, and if I'm not able to do that, to produce a good sentence or structure, I will give you my wedding ring or the keys to my car, etc. etc. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and in different classes, many, many, many students of different nationalities, my colleagues, and etc. No, I've never lost. So it means that you can be, provided that you know that word. Okay. So I do not claim, I don't think anybody can claim that they know all the words in a particular language. It's not possible. Okay. If I know the word, the teacher, can suppose any teacher, me as a teacher, if I know the word, I can very quickly, less than a second, make association with this word and that picture. It's possible. Again, I've been doing it many, many, many times. Okay. Just imagine that you, as the English teacher, and your students, to some degree, can learn to talk about any topic. Any topic. Again, please remember, talk about any topic, not know about any topic. Okay, nobody knows about it. That's ridiculous. Okay, nobody knows everything. Okay, but we should be able to, with our limited knowledge, to make some relation, at least linguistically. Okay, make some relations between words, as linguistic means English words in our, and of course grammatical rules, and any topic, any situation, any subject. It is possible. So you see how economical this method would be. You can bring anything to your class with just a few pictures and the imagination. All right. Please try doing that. You can watch my TV. Yeah, we did not during the 90 programs. We did not use one sentence of nothing. Nothing. We didn't have any script. Okay, everything occurred as if it was live, and yeah, that is possible. Very well. I assume it's time for me to use Imam of Aftabe, Khomeini and Aftabe, and one picture. Okay. So I told you I have 190 pictures in a folder. Okay. I used my randomizer, and the random picture was number 127. And as you can see, it's some happy kids laughing. All right. So I'm going to use that picture, and Imam Khomeini, uh, um, we would come up with this sentence. Because Khomeini had painted a scary face on his aftabe, the happy children screamed with laughter every time he picked it up. All right, I suppose it's time to say goodbye. Now, as I mentioned, I'll give you some techniques, a list of techniques, as well as, of course, some other projects that can be conducted in future by other people. Okay, so I really like, yeah, the way we use pictures. For instance, you might want to use sounds instead of pictures, combination of sounds, okay? Or you can have sounds and pictures together, okay? The first one I call, so my method is called Pictologics. You might have phonologics, and then you can have the combination of these two, of which I call phonictologics, okay? So, in my opinion, even sky is not the limit, okay? So who knows, maybe in future other people the researchers would use. Okay, so I'll give you a list for further research. And then, speaking of which, if you like more information, you can always contact me using my email. And of course, I have published six journal articles about PLS. My PhD dissertation is about PLS. It worked very well with the Malay students back back there in Malaysia. Okay, so you might want to search for that as well. So I suppose we can call it a session now, and wish you all the best. And looking forward to seeing you soon again. Until then, goodbye.